Let's get into it. Coach Colin News. Florida man does the Lord's work. Just doing the Lord's work, man. I hate to hear a story like this, but I love the outcome, and I love how the police department praised this man for defending his house, defending his wife. I love it because it doesn't always end like that. Sometimes people question the amount of force somebody uses for an intruder. This man was somebody who kept going to jail over and over and over again, and he finally bumped into the wrong household. Absolute mistake, and he's where he needs to be, 100%. Home intruder shoots woman in the face, so her husband uses garden knife to leave him very much deceased, police say. Here, let's get into the video of the sheriff actually reporting on it.
I'm Highlands County Sheriff Paul Blackman. On Thursday, May 16th at approximately 8:30 p.m., deputies with the Highlands County Sheriff's Office responded to Joe Hilton Street in Avon Park regarding a suspicious incident. Upon arrival, deputies found two possible victims, a female and male, both 69 years of age. Both victims had what could be described as serious injuries. The male victim advised, and evidence on the scene confirmed, that another subject, who was identified as Lindsey Glenn, date of birth June 23, 1961, was deceased inside the victim's home on Joe Hilton Street. It was discovered that Lindsey Glenn used a ruse to gain entry into the victim's residence. Once inside the residence, he produced a firearm and shot the female victim in the face. The male victim, seeing his wife shot, armed himself with what is described as a 7-inch garden knife. Once armed with the knife, he went to work on Mr. Lindsey Glenn. Ultimately, the suspect, Lindsey Glenn, was cut to pieces and was very much deceased by the time the deputies could get to him. Lindsey Glenn has been convicted of at least 12 different felonies, which include robbery and burglary, and has done at least 6 stints in state prison. In closing, I would like to commend the male victim for his bravery and quick action in defending his wife and their home. We will pray for his wife that she has a fast and full recovery. I should say this investigation is still very active and ongoing. This preliminary information could change.
One thing that won't change is this gentleman on the screen right now. He's not getting up. He's done. He's done. Absolutely done, as he should be. Absolutely disgusting. Now, apparently, these people were very good people. The wife was a notary, so it wasn't really so much as a ruse, but they were so used to people coming over to have her notarize things that it didn't seem out of the ordinary for somebody who's in the community, who you think is in the community, to come by the house, knock on the door. This gentleman probably knew some little things about them in regards to that. I don't know, but he stumbled onto some very good-hearted people. But you know what they say about the best-hearted people, man. You don't want to play around with them. You end up very much deceased. Florida man cuts man to pieces is what that's going to say on the internet. You ever seen those accounts, the Twitter accounts, the Instagram accounts, Florida man? You type in Florida man in just about anything, and it will show you the wildest things. You can write your birthday, Florida man, and it will show you some wild event that happened. Well, this is one of those things. Good. 100% good, man. And I was so, when I first heard the story, I was like, oh man, this guy, like, he did that because he lost his wife, but his wife's still alive. Thank God. Wife's still alive. Hopefully she makes a recovery, speedy recovery. That would just be the best thing in the world, you know? Absolutely crazy. Cuts him to pieces. Oh my gosh. You know, you never celebrate people passing away, but that human being seems like a garbage human being, especially to shoot a woman in the face with obviously the intent to kill her, you know? There's a lot of people who say, you know what I would do? But this gentleman, whoever he was, that man, that husband, he said, no, you know what I'm about to do? Know what I would do, what I'm about to do right now. Cut him to pieces. The fact that, you know, a person would use that terminology who's not in law enforcement, but for someone in law enforcement to be using that terminology makes me think that there were pieces of the person. Just saying. Just saying. You know, there's a little report here from one of the neighbors who stumbled onto the whole thing to help out. Very loving people. Godfrey said they do whatever they can for the community. They feed the community. They're church people. He's a mechanic. Everybody in the neighborhood speaks very highly of them. See, that's where he went wrong. That right there, those mechanic hands, buddy, those mechanic hands are different. A mechanic hand just getting a hold of you and twisting any part of you is bad enough. Mechanic hand that gets a hold of a knife and his wife is on the ground, well, that's it. You get cut into pieces. That's just the natural equation of that. You know, mechanic hands are like farm boy hands. You ever had a farm boy get a hold of you? You know what I mean? They got old man strength and they're only 17. You know what I'm talking about? They throw you like easy. Your feet are 4 feet off the ground. You ever experienced something like that? Oh my gosh. I have. I have. It's not a fun time. I gotta tell you. You know, it's like a sleeper. It's very odd. Because you're like, oh, this is just a regular guy. And then he grabs you and you're like, oh, this is, oh God. Oh gosh. And next thing you know, you're on the ground. But this guy deserved it, definitely. Florida man doing the Lord's work. This is a short video. I just wanted to bring that up. I just saw that clip and I was like, wow. You know, I you know, again, terrible what happened to his wife, but I love to hear a story like that. The fact that the sheriff is praising the man instead of being like, well, are we going to have to prosecute him? You could tell by the way this guy's talking about the situation. This guy's not going to get prosecuted. He doesn't deserve to. And the reason I bring that up is because that happens all too many times. We live in this weird world where if someone's looting from a store, you can't stop them. If someone's breaking into your car, you know, depending on, you know, the kind of force you use, you may be in trouble too. There's been people who have done home invasions and something happens to them and they get to sue the homeowner. There's just all sorts of nasty stuff that goes on in these type of situations, but not in Florida. Florida doesn't play that stuff. Florida is just like, you cut them into pieces? Let me see. Did you? Wow. All right. Well, we'll clean it up. You get on, you know, I guess you can go to the hospital, you know. You just get some rest. No, nothing else. We'll just pick it all up. No, I got gloves. Don't worry about it. Just take these chunks. Take these chunks of this terrible human being. That's why I love Florida. I got a lot of family out in Florida. I'm going to ask them if they heard about this. Anyways, guys, like, subscribe, share. It helps the channel tremendously. And other than that, I'm out.